Hi everyone. So you'd probably know I'd missed my last video on Sunday. If you don't know, I was basically in prison. I was arrested, my drink was spiked, and life has been really lifing. But welcome everyone to Crypto Angles podcast number 58. So if you are new over here, what we do is we combine astrology with the crypto market to see what's going on. But of course, it's astrology of the sky, it's the visible sky. And as I says, it's Crypto Angles podcast number 58. And this will be my last one for until the end of May, because I just need a break. Okay, so I wasn't going to do this, but I thought, let me just cover the whole month of May and then I'll be back in June. So welcome. For those who are new, what we usually do over here is sometimes we'll take a look at the Gematria connections, then we'll look at the astrological story of what's happening. And of course, we're going to cover that for the whole of May, for the rest of May. And then we'll check out the technical analysis for Bitcoin, XRP, and the DXY. If you would like to know my story as to what had happened, there is... Oh dear, what's happening there? There is a story on my YouTube where I explain. So feel free to check that out before I remove it. But yeah, let's get into this video anyway. I'm going to keep this song on because I quite like it in the background. Anyway, I hope everyone is alright, and let's get into it. So we are in May, and of course I was meant to cover a video on the 5th, but I physically couldn't do it. We are on the 10th right now, so this video will come out today, not the usual day of the sun, but we're covering all of this, okay? And we're going to look at the crypto market on a more macro scale. So what we're still in right now is this new moon energy. So the moon energy lasts 5 days before and 5 days after, and do forgive my voice, I'm not 100%, but we are still in this moon energy. And the new moons, new moon, no moon, as I like to call it, price likes to find its resistance level, its local resistance level. And if you have been following the markets, it's pretty much done that. We'll put on the moon phases when we get into the technical analysis. So do keep that in mind. Lasting for 5 days after the new moon, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically up until Monday, but give up until this first quarter moon on Wednesday before the transition comes in. Okay, I do want to bring up this Mars transit as well. As you can see, Mars is taking its seat as watery dip. Again, if you aren't familiar with these extra constellations, we cover it because it's in the sky, and this is what the luminaries are actually doing. So it's much more than the 12 than what we know with mainstream tropical astrology. Also, if you don't know, the calendar at the back explains it all to you. You've got Cetus, it tells you all of the symbology. So it is available if you would like to get it. But this Mars in Cetus and then dipping into Cetus and dipping back out will impact people's drive and passion when it comes to investing in the crypto market, because that's how I see it. Astrology impacts our decision making, it impacts the chemical components in our bodies which cause us to take certain actions when it comes to the world stage. And of course, this will be linking into how people will start to move and invest into the crypto market. So their drive and their passion of people is getting its Cetus watery dip. So possibly a lot of reflection and alchemizing on how you have recently invested into the crypto market, and as it dips out of Cetus and back into Pisces, it's more so how you would like to really continue, okay, in this new way, the way you would like to continue to invest into this crypto market. So that's what I'm seeing when it comes to our drive and our passion, when it comes to how we'll be investing, exchanging money and things of that nature. We're having an alchemization and a rebirth. So keep that in mind. If there's even more extra passion, direction, especially when it comes to investing, so could be why. Okay, so could be why. We're then getting the sun entering into Taurus. So the sun represents our ego. It's the lens we operate through. Taurus is a new toroidal field. So just linking it back to Mars, your drive and your passion, having this alchemization and this rebirth essentially in water. So I'm seeing potentially more volatility because it is water based, but ultimately we're entering into a new toroidal field on how we're going to be exchanging our energy, how we are perceiving reality. Also, Taurus does cover, it fuels the second house, which is love and money. It's all things material, but of course the main thing we're focusing on is money at the moment. So monetary, again, I'm seeing this new drive and passion when it comes to money investing. Now this one here is child. It is the child luminary, your inner child, and it's stationed in retrograde where? In Aquila. So this is Aquila, as you can see, child stationed retrograde in Aquila. And Aquila is the eagle. It's the eagle and it likes to soar. Retrogrades offer a going back, a redo, a going over. And as you can see, Pluto is also stationed retrograde, and that is retrograding in Capricorn. So there's two retrograde energies happening right now. Pluto is ready to transform the entire collective through its foundations and stability towards its long-term goals. Yeah, your inner child is ready to soar in this. Okay, it wants to soar like an eagle. So the retrogrades offer the space and capacity for this soaring, so to say, and for this transformation to happen. So you cross all the I's and dot all the T's in order for you to be able to move forward when it comes to these solid foundations and your long-term goals, as well as your inner child getting ready to soar. So again, linking that back to our ego perceiving things through its new toroidal field. Okay, through its new toroidal field, based on things of the material, especially money, with your drive and passion getting this rebirth and this alchemization. So this is all happening, of course, when the market is still finding its current resistance, and then the energy will transition as we get our first quarter moon. So we'll see most likely a shift in direction at this point going into next cycle. We're then getting Mercury dipping into Cetus as well. So Mercury being monetary, it covers your it's all about energy exchange. Ultimately, it's all about energy exchange. Of course, it covers your thoughts, communication, and things of that nature, but it's about monetary energy exchange as well. So again, another aspect of how investors will move when it comes to investing their money, and it's dipping in Cetus. So again, it's having this alchemization like Mars. It's having this alchemization. So if thoughts come up into your head about how you've exchanged your money, you know, you're driving, your passion has already had its rebirth, so to say, or it's in its rebirth, your drive and passion. Now it's the way you exchange your energy when it comes to money is having this reflection time. So if a lot comes up again, if you have a lot of thoughts about how you have invested in the past, how you have exchanged your money in the past, then that's normal. Mercury, oh my throat, Mercury is just chilling in Cetus. It's chilling in Cetus, again, another water element. So if there's some form of volatility for the rest of this month, don't be surprised if that's the case. But with Venus as well entering Taurus in alignment with the Sun, Venus is happy in Taurus. It represents, oh, it's my Venus return. It's also my Mars return. But anyway, when Venus, it fuels Taurus, so again, it's all about the material. It's all about the material reality, which covers money and love too. So when it comes to Venus, it's all about what you find valuable in your reality, which makes you want to use your senses to interact with it. Okay, it's what you find valuable. So again, if certain exchanges come up, certain thoughts come up about money, then so could be why this could be activating in you to start making certain decisions, to start exchanging your energy in a certain way, to start exchanging it in a certain way. So what is valuable in your material reality impacts your toroidal field. Now bear in mind, your toroidal field is the very thing that will attract new experiences to you. Okay, it will attract these new experiences to you. So I'm seeing yeah, that's basically Venus and Mercury. A lot of how can I put it? But of course, Mercury's not in Cetus for long. It dips up. It doesn't, unlike the rest of them, where they go into Cetus and go back up into Pisces. Mercury just goes straight into Aries. So again, when it comes to your thoughts and how you're ready to exchange your energy, when it comes to investing and things of that nature, you're ready to be in this new, fresh energy. Okay, so if you potentially have been feeling like, oh, what's going on? Yeah, just kind of what's going on. Things are moving probably a little bit slow. I'm generally feeling that we're going to be exchanging our energy in this new, fresh way. Again, altering our toroidal field, attracting new experiences to us, and our drive and our passion is getting this rebirth, which will ultimately impact how you choose to exchange your energy. But it's happening in this new and fresh way. So Mercury being money, Aries being this fire sign. It's going to be interesting to see, of course, how the market responds to that, because in alignment we're entering into this full moon energy. So this full moon energy price will be getting ready to find its local support, and I feel this local support will give the most insight to what we need to see. There's certain things we are going to look at, the stock to flow model, Bitcoin stock to flow model, and there was another one but I could not find it, the election years. Waters Above has it many times on his video, but I just couldn't find it myself. And April and May are usually the lowest months, and June is like recovery, July is up. So I will definitely be paying attention, but of course there's not going to be a video after until the 2nd of June. But I will be paying attention as price has found its resistance level I'll be paying attention to where it's getting ready to find its local support. So that is the energy it is at right now. Well, that it will be transitioning into. And it's in Scorpio. So Scorpio is another water element. It is another water element. So more liquidity, possibly, being that water sign. And of course the market is water. We're also getting Uranus entering into Taurus on the 23rd, along with the full moon. Now Uranus can cause electric change. Now when we get into the stock to flow model, it would probably make sense. Again, it's in this toroidal field. The whole crypto market, the whole collective, your whole personal lives is ready to enter into this new toroidal field. Uranus is getting ready to bring this electric change into your energy field. So that could also impact the market as well. Being money, Taurus, having this aspect on money, an electric change could come about. And when we see this stock to flow model, so could be why. And then of course Mercury, as we're getting our third quarter moon, Mercury then enters the realm of Taurus as well. So we're getting a lot of Taurus energy. We're getting 1, 2, 3, 4. We're getting quadro. We're getting quadro Taurian energy of the material reality, your toroidal field impacting and attracting different things, new things in your toroidal field. So I'm seeing the market is truly getting ready to transition. That's the best way I can put it. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this stock to flow model. Also, people, if you did want the calendar, this discount is still going on. This buy one get one free. Have a read for yourself. It is available. Feel free to grab it if you would like to support in any way. But let's get into it. So this is the Bitcoin stock to flow model. So we're going to just be paying attention to the colors and of course where we're actually at. So the color we're at right now, we've gone from this dark purple to berry color, as you can see, and it's turning pinky. Now what happens every time we're around about that zone? We turn, oh, it kind of covers it, we turn this pinky dark purple color, it goes to pinky ready, and then we have upward momentum. Again here we've got this dark purple color, it turns this pinky to ready, orangey, and then we've got upward momentum. Again here we've got this dark purpley color, turns to this orange, and then upward momentum. Likewise at this point, when it was this purpley color, it was just above this line. Can you see in this zone? It wasn't here, it was beneath the line, but that was closer to Bitcoin's inception. But going into 2016 to 2017, we were above this trend line, so to say. We transitioned color and then we went up above it and then hovered back down to it. It happened here too. We were literally just on the line and then we jumped up, and now coming into the present day, we are on the line right now. So I'm seeing transitioning happening right now. If there's any, when I say right now, I'm not saying in May, as May was still a low month. Like I said, I can't find that chart, but April and May were like the lowest months. June was more recovery. And July, August was upward momentum. Okay, but as you can see right now, we are on the line and we've got this slope coming up, and it always pretty much follows the slope, even though it was underneath it this time, followed it underneath. Excuse me. On this occasion, we were well underneath it and then just went above it. So we're above the line right now. We're truly getting ready for transitioning to potentially follow this on up. How high could we go? Could we go as high as where this line is saying? At the 350k? Would it reach that point? I'm not sure. But of course 100k for this run is definitely in it. But I'm unsure. People have been saying there could be a super cycle, and if that's the case, could Bitcoin be peaking to 300k if we get a super cycle? Potentially. What else do I want to see? Also, looking at the bottom here, just looking at this bottom trend line, as you can see, when price was getting ready to transition up, it went high up over this point. When it's obviously in its bull run. Then it's just below it when we're in the blue. We're below it. And then it continued again. This bull run, we're up. Happened a little bit there, but this was when we kind of had that. When was this? Oh, this was the last amazing buying opportunity. But as you can see right now, we are in this little red zone here too. So could we get this super extension when it's ready before coming back down again? But do let me know your thoughts on this, people. We'll get into the technical analysis. Also, people, if you follow mainly mainstream astrology, I'd like you to check out this site, and it will tell you like where the luminaries are in real time. So you can see I'm not bullshitting you. It is the case. Is that as bright as you? Sorry, was it so dark that whole time? Go on this site and check for yourself. As you saw, the sun was getting ready to enter into Taurus. It's not there yet. So I'll just show you the sun, because right now it is in Aries. So as you can see, constellation Aries, what day? 10th of May. The sun in the Aries star constellation, and Venus is there too. Okay, soon getting ready to go into Taurus. You can see the TAUR. So just check it out for yourself. Don't believe me. And of course, if you'd like, grab a calendar so you can follow along. But let's get into the technical analysis now for Bitcoin, XRP, and the DXY. My voice is going a little. So when it comes to Bitcoin, something I want to point out, excuse me, I need to cough. Oh gosh. Something I do want to point out, it has, a time ago I drew this little squiggle. I don't know if it's going to reach back down this low. But it seems to be retracing, of course. But something I do want to point out is what happened this time in 2021. Bitcoin obviously was going up. We got topped out. It went down and retraced, which was quite healthy as it super extended. It's come back to find some support. And then what many of us thought, that this was the continuation of the bull run. Okay, we thought we'll retest this zone and then eventually break out of it, even if we got rejected a little, but potentially break out of it and then continue for the bull run. But of course that didn't happen. We just had this collapse and this fall, which again is still healthy, because look, since its last point here, Semi-touched it a little bit in 2019, but it's a healthy retest of this zone, what Bitcoin did, to be honest with you. And then of course we've pretty much since then gone in a straight line, and we're having a retracement back down. So I do want to just bring our awareness to that, because we've created a higher high, of course, and we were expecting, like I said, to potentially have a retracement like what it started doing, for a then push up and a breakout. Now what I don't want to entertain too much of the idea of is that we'll get just a double top again, and then just a long drawn out thing. I feel what potentially could happen is what we were expecting on this cycle. Instead of getting topped out and then coming back down, I feel this retracement may not be over. It may not be over, but I don't feel we're going to get this another deep correction. As we checked out the stock to flow model, it's getting ready to move. It is getting ready to move. However, we are still in the month of May, where oh gosh, this fly has landed on my window. I've never seen this fly before. It's black. It's got red legs. Oh, never seen that. Anyway, distractions. That's what I'm keeping an eye on anyway, but we're going to take a look to see how low it could possibly go. But looking at the RSI, however, on the monthly, we are on the monthly time frame, it's seeming like as we had gone up, it's seeming like it's turning its direction to continue on up. Okay, that's kind of what it's looking like, to be honest. Here we were heavily overbrought, but not so much here. Of course we were overbrought, but not heavily, not super heavily like these two occasions in 2017 and in 2021. So that's just telling me alone that there's definitely much more room on the monthly aspect. When it comes to the MACD, we are still in the green. There's no crossing happening just yet, so definitely more room to the upside, but is that in the immediate future? So I just wanted to share more of a long-term perspective, synchronizing it with the stock to flow model, that it's definitely getting ready to do what it needs to do very soon. Okay, but don't be surprised if there's one last shakeout. Why? Because price needs to find its new local support with the full moon. Alright, so do keep that in mind. So the first thing I wanted to say, as you can see here, a few videos ago I drew this red box, and that was the new moon. That was the new moon, no moon. I put one there and one here because I was like, we'll either go a little bit higher, it pulls us up, or we'll get rejected at this level. And of course it was that level nicely, and then we pushed down. We found a little support off the last full moon, but of course the new moon is already in. The new moon is already in. Let me just show you the moons right now so you can see for yourself when it wants to come on. So this was our new moon on the 8th of May, which ironically began in Aries slightly, and then it transitioned into Taurus, so another Taurus energy. We got rejected clearly at this level where it's at now. So this is why I'm just like, because we were rejected at this level, could we be going down a little bit further to gain more support? Now, of course, the next leg down would be this 52 to 51k region, where we do have a trading cluster. However, it's like, I feel the most, or the best healthiest option for further continuation up would be this trading cluster, as much more happened there. Especially because if we come back down, if we have our full moon retesting, even if it's a wick, even if we get a wick down, but the body of the candle comes back up to this zone, I feel that would still be healthy anyway. But of course, I'm going to just look at the possibility, if the market makers want to do that one last push to get you out, when we are literally at this time of going up. Because as you can see, when it's in this zone, there's a little wiggle, sideward momentum that could be going down a little. As you can see here too, we had a the purple, there was a wick down. Oh, I don't know how to get rid of that box so it doesn't come up. And then we went into the orange line, and then we had this little spike down before going up. So do keep that in mind, that that's what we could potentially be in. That could be the last shakeout in the market, and most importantly, because price is getting ready to find its local support level. Okay, I feel if price comes back to down to this level, it will be healthy. If the market makers really want to play with your emotions, I feel the next leg would be retesting this last breakout zone where it came out of, which brings us nicely to the bottom of this parallel channel where I've drew my squiggle, basically. So they're the areas I'm keeping in mind. If they really want to try and push people out, I wouldn't be surprised if we go back down to this level. It's just another entry opportunity at the end of the day. But we may not. We may not. We may only get wicks down to the top of this parallel channel, which I feel would be healthy at minimum to retest this level, only because there's just not a lot of trading happening there. So we'll see. We will see. My throat though, my throat. But taking a look just at the RSI on the W time frame. Oh, sorry. Oh, not sorry, but you know. So when it comes to the monthly and the W time frame, things are looking just a little bit different. As you can see on the W time frame, and I say W because I don't like to say the word week. I'm really trying to remove it out of my vocabulary. But we're sloping to the downside. So again, this falls in alignment with reaching our full moon, our local resistance, our local support, sorry, with the full moon closer to the end of May. Do keep that in mind, because let's just zoom out. Let's zoom out. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of the moons for a moment because it just looks like a disease. Yeah, it was just like on this zone that happened in 2021. We, of course, once we dipped back into, just paying attention to the RSI, let me move this out the way. The RSI over here, we were overbought, and then we dipped back underneath the 70. On the RSI, we hovered over it a little, and then we just collapsed down. So similar to now, we were overbought, and now we are underneath the 70. So could we get this collapse down? Like, this was healthy. I have to admit, this was healthy. People got a little bit shocked, like, oh, what's going on? But once we saw recovery. We were like, yeah, it's going on up. But then, of course, this happened. So this is why I do want to say, even if we may get a harsher correction, whether it finds its support at this 51 to 53k, whether it wicks a little lower before continuing and actually passing it this time. Yeah, like, I wouldn't be alarmed. I just wouldn't be alarmed if we get a nice healthy retest. I'd be happy, actually. I'd actually be happy. But the RSI is kind of showing that we do have room to the downside to fill. Now, could we get as low as this point? Possibly not. We may not get as low, even on the RSI, as where we last were. That's why I'm saying I feel above this parallel channel, and if they really want to push people's emotions, we'll dip back into it, especially if we cannot hold this 51 to 52k. But it won't be that long, because since we had the recovery, how many days did it take this time? How many W cycles since we began to recover? So after we actually fell, 63 days. Yeah, because we're on the W time frame. 63 days it took us. So how much is that? 2 months. Like just over 2 months, basically. So yeah, just over 2 months. But have we started this fall from April? Will the rest of it be May? And in June, could we begin to see recovery going on up? So just keep that in mind. But looking at the MACD on the W time frame as well, you can see we have crossed over. The red is now over the blue, so it's signaling more downward momentum. It's signaling more downward momentum. We've started the red a little, like over here we didn't have a lot of red. We didn't have a lot, but because we're so high now, type of thing, we may get that pullback necessary. So yeah, that's all I kind of wanted to say. If we do get, especially because we're trying to find this bottom in the market, the RSIs for the W time frame, there's room to the downside to go. The MACD is crossing over, has crossed over, entering into the red zone. Just don't be alarmed where we may end up. So I'm still keeping my targets 51 to 53k, and if we cannot hold that, if we can't hold that, then it will be this zone, the top of the parallel channel. What is that? 46k, 46 to 47k. If we fail to hold that, or if they want to scare us and a wick down, it's back to that 35 to 38. But it may sit on the middle 41. But we'll see how it goes. Follow it along. I will be following anyway, personally. I just won't be putting out any more videos until June. But yeah. And what I am liking, though, it is getting its support off of is it EMAs or SMAs? It's getting its support off it. So it will be interesting. It's being supported now, and of course, if price does fall below this one, then we could be trading between them. So do keep that in mind. Shall we pull out a fib? Sorry. Let's pull out a fib. So I'm going to go from swing high to swing low. So right now, on the swing high to swing low, which is a bullish fib, it is right above the golden pocket. So that is interesting. That is interesting. That's, I'd say, healthy, I guess. Even if we trade within the golden pocket, but I want to draw it the opposite way too. I'm doing from this low, that lowest point, to the swing high. And I just want to bring your awareness just to the 0.5, just to the 0.5, because again, that brings us to this level. Even if we get some wicks just touching the top of this parallel channel, if we really want to come back and get a deeper correction. But just looking at it, I feel it needs to correct a little bit more. The RSI, the MACD is showing that there's definitely space and room to correct, and ultimately this would lead to a more powerful upward momentum. So that's the perspective I kind of would like you lot to see this at. Corrections aren't, oh, it's going nowhere. It's more powerful for the long term. But for those who don't know, this will kind of scare them, especially if they're buying Bitcoin now and they're just like, okay, it's retraced a bit, it's gonna go up. But ultimately, DCA, just DCA. And also, I find it interesting that the golden pocket is within this parallel channel. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look on a smaller time frame. We'll look at the daily. That's probably the lowest we'll go. So when it comes to the daily, we can see a bit more clearer that Bitcoin is showing signs of weakness. It's getting lower and lower. There was a little sign of SOS here as we went a teeny bit higher, or pretty much the same level, but it's just going weaker and weaker. We're getting lower highs, consistent lower highs than this point. So there is weakness there. And again, it's like we've come down. We're literally wedged between these EMAs. What are they? EMAs or SMAs? EMA ribbons. Okay, there we go. We're wedged between the EMAs. So on the daily, that could honestly push us down. So when it comes to the W time frame, we're trading between them again, that wedging us down as well. So like I said, looking at the daily, you can see here there's just not a lot of trading happening. So that's the only reason why I say I don't know if this is a strong area for Bitcoin to like hold its true support. I just don't feel it's the strongest area. I feel this zone is much stronger and much healthier, which brings us to the top of our parallel channel. And it's only if of course, only if we can't hold that, this is the next level. And if we cannot hold that, it's still not to be alarmed, because even if Bitcoin comes into this zone, it can still continue in a very healthy way, possibly even more stronger if it goes back that hard. But the MACD as well on the daily, as you can see, we had our Batman. We had our Batman over here, and the MACD, we are underneath the 50. We've been rejected. Could we get rejected again? As you can see, it's starting to turn. Could that be the last rejection for price to find its support? But what will be interesting is to see where it finishes. Will we be higher than this point on the RSI, even if price is lower? That would be amazing, because that would be a bullish divergence. So it would just confirm the upward momentum if we do have downward momentum. But it is looking like there's a bit of room to the downside. So with the MACD, however, there is a little bit of green. We have had a lot of red. So could there be just some relief, as we're not close yet to this full moon? We're only here. So could we still get a little bit of relief before we transition in the next cycle, the mid from like the 15th, 16th, before we transition into the full moon energy? So do keep that in mind. So this is why I kind of wanted to share different perspectives of the different time frames, because on the monthly, on the bigger macro, along with the stock to flow market, you can generally see there's upward space to come, like 100%. On a smaller time frame, the W, before we can move in the macro, it's like there needs to be a little bit of a retracement, because there is plenty of room for that retracement to happen. However, because we're quite not ready there, price is still playing with this zone. It's really testing to see if this will be support or if it will break through. This is kind of like this waiting period of it getting ready to find its local support. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Ultimately, on the larger scale, it's getting ready. It is getting ready. But in order for it to get ready, a retracement, a little bit more of a retracement will be healthy, because just look at it. It just needs a bit more support. Like if it's just done that and then continues up, it's just not that much support here. But that could still be a possibility, you know. Though on the W time frame, there's clearly room for downward momentum. So let's move on now to XRP. Do let me know your thoughts on that one. I feel like I've spoken for long. My voice is semi-going. So, forgive me, I got phlegm and I need to spit it out. I know it's not very ladylike, but I say it got some time. Can't keep the phlegm in your body. So with XRP, let's just take a look on the bigger time frames as well. This is super messy. When I come back in June, my chart will be clearer. It will be clearer. So price is underneath all of the EMAs. Literally all of them. Literally all of them. Bitcoin definitely wasn't underneath the 200, for crying out loud. But what I'm kind of liking on here is that XRP is really holding this green triangle. It's really holding this green triangle. Look, it even extends a little bit further. But once we had this semi-explosion, we've literally just been trading in this triangle. We broke out of it a little, but now we're finding our support back on it, and it's literally coiling up. Now, it's coiling up, but XRP likes to do what XRP does best and go down. Okay, that's what it likes to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we break to the downside with this, especially because we are underneath the EMAs. We're underneath it all. Where the luminary moving averages, it's on the higher time frames. They're probably not there. It just wouldn't surprise me again, because we've had this wick, and price likes to, it never really goes back down to the bottom of the largest wick, but it does like to get close to it, and it has pretty much done it. But there have been wicks on this higher time frame, so that's what I'm keeping in mind. When it comes to the RSI, you can see as well we are sloping to the downside, like it just needs to finish something off. It's like that's what it needs to do. With the MACD, it's looking like the red being over the blue is just showing more downward momentum. But this is interesting. We're getting like one red, and then it's getting smaller, and then this one's getting smaller. So will it go that low? Of course, a lot depends on Bitcoin and how low Bitcoin wants to drag it down. But ultimately, if we remain, even if we break out of this green triangle, if we remain just like Bitcoin in this parallel channel, it's still healthy. It's still healthy, it's still fine, because we will be creating, we'll certainly be creating a higher low. Okay, this parallel channel was with XRP since its inception. So the fact that it's trading in it, I feel, is a healthy thing anyway, even though it's still suppressed, of course. But if we are to break to the downside, I'm generally not seeing lower than this parallel channel. Excuse me. So this 46 zone, I'm not seeing lower than that if we break to the outside. Could it decouple and go the opposite way? I don't know. Let's look on the smaller time frame. So obviously on the daily we're getting more of the candle wicks lower than it, lower than this triangle, but we're essentially just playing with this triangle. But the one thing I have noticed with XRP, and I've shared this before, when we get these wicks down, it's showing you where price is getting ready to entertain. Look, it's done this time and time again. We've had this massive wick down, brought back up, and then we slope to the downside. But we never usually, there's some wicks, but like a body of the candle never usually closes at the lowest point it's wicked to. Just, it never usually does that from what I've seen. But price, once it has this wick, it likes to come close to it and entertain it a little. Now, we have had this massive wick down. We have had that. Of course, we were kind of playing with it here. I don't feel it will go. Look, I'm sure someone commented on my last video and I didn't reply. Forgive me. I will reply to my comments on my time off, as I won't be doing videos, so I have a bit more time to reply. But they says they don't see it going past 40 cents, which makes sense to me. I don't see that either. I feel that this wick has told us all what we need to know. Only if, you know, because the RSI and everything is showing there's room to the downside on like the larger time frame, especially if Bitcoin wants to pull the market down a little. I see we could just fall back into this larger green triangle, because I drew this extra green line because that's where price was hitting, but we do have this larger green triangle anyway, where price may want to coil up in before coming out for summer. So that's a possibility, but I don't see it going lower than 40 cents or 41 cents. Not really. If it does, I guess it's creating a new structure. But yeah, but again, on the daily, price is literally below the EMAs. It's below the luminary moving averages. Is wedged between Saturn and Uranus. It's wedged between them both. So if anything, if we get downward momentum, it may trade amongst the EMAs. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Shall we pull a fib? You know, let's pull up the moons for XRP. So clearly that was our resistance level, as you can see, at 54 cents. That was our resistance level. So it's literally just getting ready to find its local support. Where will that be? Will it just retest where these wicks were? Back to this white line. Again, this is a very potent, strong place that's been there for a minute. So that could be, look how powerful this support line is. Going back for quite some time. 48 cents. That could be a thing. So that's what I am seeing there. Just get rid of that. I didn't put on my SMAs on Bitcoin, but let's just take a look. It's underneath them anyway. it's underneath them anyway. So, yeah, and just the volume. Let's take a look at the volume for XRP. That's interesting. A lot of volume happening, so people are investing in it. At the price it's at now, people are investing in it, and I still say, because of what XRP is ready to do, this price is still a bargain. So whether it goes down a little or not, it really makes zero difference at this point. For Bitcoin, it makes a little bit more of a difference, but not for XRP. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. That wasn't really a triangle because it missed that. I'll pull out a fib and we'll go on to the DXY because Mama's voice is hurting. So I'm going to go to the wick just to this point for now, and I'm going to do it on the higher zone. Yeah, so right now, just from the lowest point to the highest, it's basically trading within the golden pocket. It's super messy to see. Please forgive me. I don't know. Can you pull a fib with... No, it gets rid of the fib. Hiding it gets rid of the fib as well. Sorry. But it's here. When I come back in June, it's going to be tidy once I sort myself out. It's trading within the golden pocket. I do want to see just on this larger scale. Just to this zone. I did it from the wick at the bottom, but the wick's so high there. Again, it's still trading within the golden pocket. It's trading at a zone where perfect buying opportunity. Perfect buying opportunity, basically. So whether it goes down a little or not, it's a good buying opportunity. But that's kind of what I am seeing, because Bitcoin, there's definitely more room on Bitcoin, it's showing, to go down. What was the RSI on? Did I see the RSI for XRP? Oh yeah, downward momentum. What about the monthly? Oh, but you see, again, similarly or similar to Bitcoin, obviously it's not all the way up here like Bitcoin is, but we are pointing to the upside. We are pointing to the upside. So it depends how we go on the monthly, especially if we can push past this. But on the larger scale, there's definitely more movement. On a slightly smaller but still larger scale, there's potential for some more downward momentum. And on the smallest scale, oh, we've done been rejected, so we just need to see it turn. But it may not be as low as this point when it comes to the RSI, which I feel will be healthy if we get this low, then a higher low. Especially if we get another higher low, then ultimately it will be healthy. But that's kind of what I'm seeing for XRP. If Bitcoin goes down while both of them are finding their local support, XRP will obviously go down a little. But I just don't see much room percentage wise for XRP to go any further, for it to be healthy, you know. But let's move on to the DXY to see what that is doing, to see how it really could be impacted. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, sauce. So, the DXY clearly for the past cycle, it was weak. It was weak. Of course, whilst Bitcoin and XRP, though they didn't have much movement to the upside, they did have a slight recovery from the downward momentum that they experienced. Because of course, the DXY was making its way down, 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 down. So right now, the DXY is wedged between the EMAs. So that's interesting. When it comes to the RSI, it is pretty low, but we're sloping to the upside. So I am seeing a little bit of recovery potentially coming for the dollar. Yeah, potential recovery, and ultimately depends. If we get rejected at this level on the DXY, we could get that rejection and then start to come back to the downside. When it comes to the MACD, it's had its downward momentum. They are kind of beginning to slope, and we're turning to the lighter red color, the pinky. So I don't know, it's kind of showing me its downward momentum has definitely slowed down. However, we broke down past this point, and it looks like we're getting rejected. So if we do get rejected, especially when it comes to the RSI, we could fill up more of this, and this is where I feel crypto may have this little slight recovery, especially while it's still in its new moon energy from where we are now, because remember, we're talking for the whole of May. Because we're still in this new moon energy, the dollar could continue to show a bit more weakness. It could come back and retest fully this zone, as it wicked down to here and then was brought back up. It could just find its support properly again, and this is where crypto may be having that slight relief and sideward momentum until it's fully getting ready to find its support. So this is where it's like on the daily, especially for Bitcoin, it looked like there was more like was it more upward momentum on the daily, just on the smallest one, or just not so much downward momentum when it comes to the daily. But of course, when it comes to the W time frame, it's like more downward momentum. So we'll see. What's this saying on the W time frame? Look at this. So just looking at the RSI on the W time frame, this is sloping to the upside. So how it looks now, it's like this sideward little bit of retracement to the downside type of vibe. But when it comes to the W time frame, so the slightly longer time frame, it's looking like it has much more upward momentum to go. So this could be when crypto is truly getting ready to find its support as we enter into the full moon, the end of May. So that is interesting to see. And again, with the MACD, we're still in the green, and this blue is looking like it's getting ready to go up a little bit more on a slightly larger time frame. So I don't know, I feel it correlates. When it comes to Bitcoin on the W time frame and XRP, it's showing downward momentum. It's showing this last point in May before it begins to recover in June, and before this stock to flow wants to fully activate. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And it's like, it's just interesting on the W time frames for all of them. Bitcoin XRP is showing downward momentum. The DXY is showing potential upward momentum. So this could possibly be the last shakeout and the last best opportunity to get involved before takeoff, basically. Yeah, before takeoff to dollar cost average, But that is kind of what I'm seeing. What are your thoughts? And I just have to point out, of course, because this is Crypto Angles podcast number 58, Crypto Angles podcast number 58, and I am taking a break, and of course Kelita equals 58, as well as XRP equaling 58, and let's not forget XPR equals 58 as well. So I feel the synchronicities of all of this is wild. There are no coincidences. I feel it's just time to take a break now, just for a moment, and of course I will be back. So do let me know your thoughts anyway on all of this. Let me know your thoughts. Comment constructive criticism, or comment where you see Bitcoin will be going, where you see an XRP will be going. And yeah, I will be back in June. Like I said, if you do want to find out what happened, the video is on my YouTube. You'll see the title is obvious, and it will come off soon. But thank you everyone for your support. Thank you. I do enjoy doing this, and I'll be back, and I'll see you in June with Crypto Angles podcast number 59. And with that being said, Angel out. Bye. Make sure you support by grabbing a calendar.